The galaxy was quiet that night, too quiet. On the edge of Sector 9, a lonely alien research station floated above a cold blue star. Inside, Koro, a young operator with 4 arms and bright silver eyes, was just starting his night shift, expecting another boring cycle. But tonight was different. Before he could even settle in, an alarm blinked on his console. Not loud, not urgent, just a silent, steady flash. He tapped the panel, and a small message appeared, a human signal. At first, he relaxed. Humans were polite, calm, and safe. They sent friendly messages all the time. But as soon as he played this one, Karo's body went rigid. A calm human voice said, "If anyone harmed our missing crew, please tell us. We do not wish conflict." The voice was soft, almost gentle, but something felt very wrong. There was a strange pressure behind the words, like a hunter asking a quiet question before choosing its target. He played it for his supervisor, Captain Renlo. The older alien listened once, then twice, before locking the control room door. "Karo," he whispered, "humans never speak like this, unless something terrible has happened." Just then, the scanner began to beep. A huge object was moving in deep space, far beyond their normal range. It was human, but far too large for a normal vessel. It moved like a drifting moon, silent and dark, giving off almost no energy. It moved without lights, without broadcasts, as if it wanted to avoid being seen. The whole crew gathered in the control room, watching the strange object draw closer. Someone whispered, "Why are the humans approaching silently? They always announce themselves." Another replied, "Because they are angry." For years, the galaxy believed humans were peaceful explorers. But every species knew the rumor, the one they never said out loud: humans hide their teeth when they smile. Suddenly, the human message repeated through the station speakers, "If anyone harmed our missing crew, please tell us. We do not wish conflict." Everyone felt the warning now. A technician shouted, "Sir, I'm catching fragments from the missing crew." Static filled the audio, but a weak voice struggled through. "This is human scout team, attacked, Drex ships, traps." The message cut out with a sharp crack. Before anyone could react, a bright flash filled the scanner. The massive human object stopped, hovering in the darkness. Its shape finally became clear: long metal wings, deep hull armor, and a core that glowed like a sleeping volcano. It was Horizon Spear, the largest human exploration ship ever built. Then, a final message arrived, direct and instant. "To all nearby stations, we are searching for our missing people. Please remain calm. Do not interfere." Polite, soft, too soft. "They are not asking for answers," Karo whispered. Renlo replied, his voice shaking. "They are giving a warning." The station lights dimmed as the human ship activated a strange mode, slowly fading from their scanners. It didn't jump or warp, it just vanished. "It's gone." Karo gasped. Renlo shook his head. "No, it is still here. It just doesn't want us to see it." Everyone stared into the empty blackness, their hearts pounding. Somewhere in the shadows, humanity had begun its hunt. For nearly an hour, the alien research station floated in complete fear. The humans had vanished from all scanners, but everyone knew the Horizon Spear was still close. Somewhere, it felt like a giant predator hiding in tall grass, silent, invisible, just waiting. Karo sat at his console, staring at the empty space where the massive ship had been just minutes ago. His silver eyes darted left and right, searching for any hint of movement. But the space was dark, quiet, empty. Renlo finally broke the silence. "We must act normal. Humans do not attack allies." A scientist nearby whispered, "Yes, but they aren't acting normal either." Before Renlo could reply, the station lights flickered. This wasn't a system error. This came from something outside, something big. A soft voice came through the room's speakers. "Station 9, prepare for diplomatic arrival." Karo nearly fell out of his chair. The humans were coming, not with weapons, but with diplomacy. The irony made his skin tighten. Renlo straightened himself. "Everyone, stay calm. Humans are polite, even when they're angry." Karo wasn't sure if that was comforting. A bright white light formed outside the station windows. Not an explosion, but more like a door opening in deep space. The Horizon Spear slowly faded back into view, as if it had stepped out from a shadow. Its enormous metal wings unfolded like some ancient creature stretching after a long sleep. The ship's hull reflected the star's blue glow, making it look calm and peaceful. Too peaceful. Then, A smaller human shuttle detached from the main ship and drifted toward the station. It moved slowly, respectfully, as if asking permission with its motion alone. As the shuttle docked, the station crew gathered nervously in the docking chamber. The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss, and out stepped Commander Vale. He was tall for a human, broad shoulders, dark uniform, and a calm expression. He didn't smile, but his eyes carried a strange warmth, mixed with something sharper underneath. Vale bowed his head politely. "Thank you for receiving us. We apologize for the unusual entrance." His voice was gentle, controlled, but every alien could sense the steel beneath it. Renlo bowed in return. "We welcome you, Commander. How can we help?" Vale's gaze swept across the aliens slowly, studying every detail without showing any threat. "3 humans are missing," he said. "Last communication placed them near Drex territory." A ripple of fear passed through the aliens. "The Drex, a brutal predator species." Caro stepped forward hesitantly. "We received a broken distress message from your missing crew." Vale turned to him with sharp focus. "May I hear it?" Caro replayed the fragments, static, cracks, and the words, "Drex, traps. Don't let humans come." Vale listened without blinking. "Thank you," he said softly. "This confirms our suspicion." Renlo asked carefully, "Do you plan direct action?" Vale answered with a calmness that was terrifying. "We plan to bring our people home." Simple words, quiet words, but they carried the weight of an unbreakable promise. Caro noticed something on Vale's wrist device. It wasn't showing weapons, but a massive scanning grid. "Are you searching for the Drex?" Caro asked. Vale nodded. "We do not attack first, but we track." Before anyone could speak, a tremor ran through the station. "What was that?" Caro panicked. Vale tapped his wrist. "Do not worry. My ship has activated quiet mode again." Renlo blinked. "But you're still here." "Yes," Vale replied. "Quiet mode doesn't hide the ship. It hides the search." Caro checked his scanner and saw thousands of tiny signals spreading across space. "Are those sensors?" he whispered. Vale corrected him gently. "Threads. They follow energy trails, heat signatures, and fear." Caro's stomach dropped. Humans could track fear. That was hunting science. Vale continued. "We do not wish for conflict, but we will not let them harm our people." Caro gathered his courage. "Commander, what if the Drex refuse?" Vale's eyes softened with certainty. "Then we will give them the same offer we give to every threat," Renlo whispered. "And what is that?" Vale's answer was simple. "One chance." Vale stepped back toward the shuttle. Now, we followed the trail. The door closed. The shuttle returned to far from the familiar glow of Station 9, in a cold, broken stretch of space. The missing humans were still alive. Barely. The Drex warship, the Krathal's fist, drifted like a metal predator, all sharp angles, dark armor, and long red lights that looked like hungry eyes. Deep inside its lower decks, the air was thick with the smell of rust, blood, and fear. In a small metal cage, Lieutenant Mara, Technician Rowe, and Scout Daniel huddled together. Their uniforms were torn, their faces etched with exhaustion, but their eyes were still sharp. A Drex guard in spiked armor marched past, its laugh a deep, guttural growl. "You humans are loud when you scream," it sneered, "but you break easily." Mara stared back, her gaze unwavering. "You have no idea what you've done." The Drex stopped, confused. "We captured you, that is all." Rowe offered a weak, defiant smile. "No, you started something." The guard slammed the bars of their cage. "You are prey. Your world is weak. Your people talk too much. They fear us." Daniel simply shook his head. "You made a mistake." The guard roared with laughter and walked away. High above, a silent visitor watched. The horizon spear hung in the darkness, a giant metal shadow, almost invisible. Its engines were cold. Its lights were dim. On its command deck, Commander Vale watched a holographic map where thousands of glowing dots, microthreads, swarmed the Drex ship. "Have the threads confirmed the location?" he asked softly. An officer nodded. "Yes, sir. 800 life forms. 3 are human." Vale closed his eyes, could begin the silent approach. The horizon spear didn't fly closer. It slid through space like a predator gliding over dark water. No sound, no light, no warning. Inside the Drex control room, Commander Razkul stood before his officers, his armor scarred from countless battles. "Let the humans come," he growled. "We will show the galaxy what happens to polite prey." A younger officer hesitated. "Commander, the humans are different," Rascal hissed. "Fear is weakness." But then, a small alarm blinked. A camera feed went to static, then black. "Commander, camera 7 failed." Before he could respond, camera 8 went dark, then 9, then 10. One by one, the screens went black, as if invisible hands were covering them. "Who's doing this?" Rascal roared. The main screen flickered, showing a small, smooth, metallic drone. On its surface, glowing blue letters slowly formed a polite message. "Please release our crew. This is your only warning." Silence. Then Rascal roared, "Destroy that drone." But it was already gone. Back in the cage, Mara's head snapped up. "You felt it too, right?" Daniel whispered. She nodded. "The ship is losing sensors." Down the hall, Drex guards started shouting as lights flickered and doors jammed. Ro grinned. "Yep, humans are here." Panic erupted on the Drex bridge. Shields offline, external sensors gone, internal grid collapsing. Rascal slammed his claws on the console. "Find the human ship." But the void outside remained empty. Just then, a small drone rolled quietly behind him and projected its final message. "Last warning. On the horizon, spear." Commander Vale spoke to calm words. "Begin entry." The Drex warship didn't explode. It was simply held, as if a giant hand had surrounded it, without touching. For the first time, the Drex understood the truth. Humans weren't prey. They were hunters who preferred to ask politely first. The Drex had ignored the warning, and now, the hunt had truly begun. The Drex warship, Krathel's fist, shook like a frightened animal. Not because it was hit no human weapon had fired, but because something was crawling silently across its hull. Inside the control room, red lights flashed and alarms blared. Officers ran frantically, trying to fix systems that refused to obey. Commander Rascal slammed his fist on a console. "Find what is happening." But they all knew. Something was inside their ship. A technician shouted, "Commander, external hull breach, no explosion detected." Rascal blinked. A breach, with no sound. Then, the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the entire ship, leaving only the dim emergency signs. The silence felt unnatural, like the ship itself was holding its breath. "Activate backup power," Rascal roared. An officer replied, terrified, "It's not responding. Something is overriding the core." Rascal's claws trembled for the first time. "Humans, help!" Aboard the human vessel, Horizon Spear, Commander Vale watched the giant Drex warship on a holographic screen. Drones were attached to its hull, cleanly and carefully draining its systems. "Status?" Vale asked. An officer replied, "All Drex weapon systems are disabled. Engines offline. Shields dead. Life support untouched." The officer confirmed. Vale nodded once. "Good. We do not harm the innocent." He turned to his tactical teammate, humans in lightweight black armor, their faces calm. Vale spoke quietly. "Remember, minimal force. Recover our people. Leave the Drex alive." Inside the Drex prison, Mara, Ro, and Daniel felt the ship's systems die. "That's them," Daniel whispered. Mara smiled. "Right on time." Down the hall, Drex guards scrambled, their energy weapons useless. Ro held the bars. "Look at them. They don't even know where to aim." One guard panicked. "What are these things?" "Ghosts." Mara shook her head slowly. "Humans." Back in the control room, Rascal gave a desperate order. "All soldiers to the main corridor. Prepare to fight hand to hand. Without power, they are weak." But when the Drex soldiers arrived, the sight stopped them cold. 8 human operatives stood in the hall. No guns, no heavy armor, just absolute confidence. A Drex shouted and charged with a blade. The nearest human stepped aside, calmly grabbed the soldier's wrist, and placed him on the floor without a sweat. Another Drex attacked from behind. A human ducked, tapped the Drex's arm, and the blade fell. A gentle push sent the Drex sliding away. No killing, no rage, just perfect, careful moves. Rascal watched the feed in shock. These are not warriors." His officer whispered, "Hunters, sir." "They are hunters," Rascal hissed. "Why are they holding back?" The officer replied, horrified, "Because killing us is too easy for them." The heavy prison door slid open without a sound. The strike team leader stepped forward. "You are safe," Ro laughed. "Safer than the Drex." As they were freed, Mara looked at the guards frozen in fear. The team leader addressed them politely. "Stand down. No harm will come to you." Commander Vale met Razgal in the central hall. "You dare enter my ship?" Razgal growled. Vale nodded. "I dared because you are holding my people. We do not wish conflict, we wish peace. But we protect our own." Razgal stepped back. What are your terms?" Vale replied, "Release my people, and do not touch humans again." Razgal stared. "No, punishment." Vale shook his head. "We are not here for revenge." With the crew rescued, the Horizon Spear released the Drex ship undamaged, alive and terrified. The Drex warship, Krathal's Fist, was no longer a predator. Now, it was a wounded beast hiding in the dark. Its halls were silent, its warriors frozen in place. Every metal wall seemed to echo with fear. The human strike team moved through the corridors with calm, steady steps. No rush, no panic, no shouting. They flowed like water around rocks. Mara, Ro, and Daniel, finally free from their cage, followed behind them. Even though they were rescued, the tension in the air was thick. The Drex still filled the hallways, watching them with wide, shaken eyes. One Drex soldier tried to take a step forward, growling weakly. Maybe he wanted to show bravery one last time. Before he could even raise his weapon, a human operative turned, lifted a hand, and spoke in a calm voice. "Please stop. We do not wish to hurt you." The soldier froze, confused. The operative gently moved the weapon aside with a single finger, soft, controlled, effortless. Mara whispered to Ro, "They're handling predators like children." Ro smirked, "Or like nurses with angry babies." As the team continued, more Drex filled the corridors, pressed against the walls. None attacked, they only watched. The Drex had always believed that violence earned respect. But these humans showed something different. Strength without cruelty, power without fear. Commander Vale appeared and joined the group. "You three okay?" he asked. Mara nodded. "Better than the Drex." Vale gave a small smile. "They are learning." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "What exactly are they learning, sir?" Vale answered gently. "That humanity is peaceful, but not harmless." They reached the lower hangar, where the rescue shuttle waited. The Drex guards stepped aside instantly, too terrified to stand in the way. As the humans boarded, an older Drex warrior, his armor cracked, stepped forward. "Human commander," he said, "why do you not destroy us? Why not punish us?" Vale stopped and simply looked at Drex in the eyes. "Because destruction is easy, understanding is harder. We protect our people, but we do not punish without purpose." The warrior bowed his head, a gesture no one had ever seen a Drex make to a human. Back on their ship, the Horizon Spear, a message came through. The Drex commander, Razgal, appeared on screen. He looked smaller now. "Human commander," he said quietly, We surrender." Vale shook his head. "We are not at war." Razgal's voice trembled. "We apologize. We will not touch humans again." Vale looked at him with calm eyes. "We ask only one thing. Leave our people alone, forever." Razgal nodded furiously. "Yes, we will obey." Vale ended the call. A young officer stared at the blank screen. "Sir," that was the Drex commander, begging. Vale exhaled. "Humans do not want enemies, but we keep our promises." And across the galaxy, a new lesson was learned. Humans protect their own. Across the galaxy, a single message echoed from every relay station, a story that defied all logic. The Drex captured humans, the humans escaped, and the Drex begged for peace. For countless civilizations, this was unbelievable. The Drex were the boogeyman of the cosmos, infamous for their cruelty, their violence, their absolute refusal to back down. They had never apologized for anything, ever. But now, they had. And as the news spread, the galaxy felt a cocktail of emotions it hadn't experienced in a long, long time. Unease, curiosity, respect, and a deep, chilling fear. Aboard the human ship, the Horizon Spear, the three rescued crew members, Mara, Ro, and Daniel, sat in the observation deck, watching the stars blur into glowing rivers. They were still trying to process it all. Ro finally broke the silence, his voice a mix of awe and disbelief. "So, we basically made the most feared race in the galaxy surrender with polite words and scary calm faces." Daniel let out a soft laugh. "Honestly, I think it was Commander Vale's voice. It was just too calm, too cold, like a teacher telling a misbehaving class to sit down." Mara leaned back in her chair, her expression serious. "It wasn't just Vale, it was all of them. Every single human soldier walked through that Drex warship like they knew they could tear it apart in seconds. She paused, looking at her friends. And that scares me more than the Drex ever did. Daniel nodded slowly. Yeah, me too. But Ro shook his head. No, they didn't scare me. They made me feel protected, like nothing in the universe could touch us while they were there. Mara thought about that. Ro wasn't wrong. Meanwhile, in the command center, Commander Vale was recording his final report. His voice was steady, professional, devoid of emotion. Incident concluded. Hostages rescued. Drex forces disengaged. Recommendation: do not initiate conflict with their forces. Maintain distance. He paused the recording for a moment, his face unreadable. Then, he added one final line. Humans were tested. We responded with restraint. And we will continue to choose restraint, until we cannot. He ended the log. The officers around him exchanged silent, knowing looks. Everyone understood the unspoken threat in that last sentence. Humans didn't look for war. But if pushed, they didn't just fight. They ended threats. Completely light years away, in the floating station known as the Unity Cradle, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. The chamber was filled with a diverse assembly of life-towering insectoids, shimmering gas beings, scaled warriors, and even neural clusters housed in armored shells. Councillor Jonrith, a long-bodied Solari, spoke with a nervous tremble in his voice. We need to understand, are humans a truly peaceful species, or have we fundamentally misunderstood their nature all along? A Raltec general clicked his sharp mandibles. The Drex feared them. That fact alone is an anomaly that demands our full attention. A crystalline speaker from the Loom Collective added its voice. Fear creates war. True peace requires clarity. The debate quickly grew louder. Some factions argued for avoiding humanity at all costs. Others proposed immediate alliances. But everyone agreed on one thing. The galaxy had long assumed humans were harmless, curious explorers. That assumption was now shattered. Deep within the Council archives, an ancient file was retrieved. A forgotten report from humanity's first ventures into space. The opening line was simple. Humans are friendly, curious, and cooperative, but should not be provoked. The next line, however, sent a shiver through the entire chamber. Their true danger lies not in their aggression, but in their calm. It was a perfect match for what had just happened with the Drex. The Council realized they had been judging humans by the wrong metrics. Humans didn't roar. They didn't bare their fangs. They didn't display strength with loud boasts. They showed it by being quiet. And that quiet terrified even the bravest species in the room. Back on the horizon, Spear, Mara, Ro, and Daniel watched the news reports. Their faces flashed across the screen, followed by the Drex's formal apology being broadcast on a loop. Ro snorted. Great. Now half the galaxy thinks we're monsters. Daniel chimed in. And the other half probably wants to hire us as bodyguards. But Mara wasn't smiling. She felt the weight of it all. Guys, we didn't do anything wrong. We got kidnapped. We got rescued. That's the whole story. Ro nodded. True, but the galaxy doesn't see that. They see us walking calmly through a warship full of killers, completely unfazed. To them, that's not normal. Daniel looked at Mara, his expression worried. You think this is going to cause trouble, don't you? She thought for a long moment. Yes, because the galaxy now knows we aren't harmless, and that means everyone is going to start acting differently around us. Just then, Commander Vale entered the observation deck, his hands clasped behind his back. You three have caused quite a political storm, he said, a faint smile playing on his lips. Daniel groaned. Sir, with all due respect, we literally just sat in a Drex cell. Vale nodded. Correct. But sometimes, the smallest action can prove the biggest truth. Mara asked quietly, and what truth is that, sir? Vale turned to look out at the vast expanse of stars. That humans are kind until they are cornered, polite until they are threatened, and calm until someone hurts our people. He turned back to face them. The Drex pushed. They learned the price. At that exact moment, the communications console beeped. A new message from the Galactic Council appeared on the screen. It read, Request, Human Representative, Purpose, Discuss Peace, Protocols, and Mutual Understanding. Ro blinked in surprise. They want to talk to us. Daniel smirked. Or study us. Mara's jaw tightened. Or make sure we never get angry again. Vale let out a soft sigh. Whatever the reason, we have been called. He then looked directly at the 3 rescued crew members. "And you're coming with me." Across the galaxy, news of the Drex incident spread like wildfire. Every relay station repeated the same message. The Drex captured humans, the humans escaped, and the Drex begged for peace. For countless species this made no sense. The Drex were infamous for their cruelty and violence. They took what they wanted and had never apologized to anyone. But now, they had bowed their heads, and the rest of the galaxy felt something they hadn't felt in a long time. Unease, curiosity, respect, and a deep-seated fear. Inside the human ship, the Horizon Spear, Mara, Ro, and Daniel sat in the observation deck, watching the stars stretch into glowing rivers below. They were still processing everything. Ro finally broke the silence. "So, we made the Drex surrender with polite words and scary calm faces." Daniel laughed softly. "Honestly, I think it was Commander Vale's voice. Too calm, too cold, like a teacher telling you to sit down." Mara leaned back. It wasn't just Vale, it was all of them. Every human soldier walked like they knew they could end that ship in seconds. She paused. "And that scares me more than the Drex." Daniel nodded slowly. "Yeah, me too." But Ro shook his head. "No, they didn't scare me. They made me feel protected, like nothing bad could touch us." In the command center, Commander Vale recorded his final report. His voice was steady and professional. "Incident concluded. Hostages rescued. Drex forces disengaged. Recommendation: do not start conflict. Maintain distance." He paused before adding one last line. "Humans were tested. We responded with restraint, and we will continue to choose restraint until we cannot." Light years away, the Galactic Council gathered in an emergency session. Racers from every sector filled the chamber. A long-bodied Solari spoke nervously. "Are humans truly peaceful? Or have we misunderstood their nature?" A Raltec general clicked his mandibles. "The Drex feared them. That alone is unusual." The debate grew louder. The galaxy had assumed humans were harmless explorers. Now, that belief was shattered. In the archives, an ancient, forgotten report on humanity was pulled up. It began simply: "Humans are friendly, curious, and cooperative, but should not be provoked." The next line froze the room. "Their danger lies not in aggression, but in their calm." Back on the Horizon Spear, the 3 rescued crew members watched the news. "Great," Rose snorted. "Now, half the galaxy thinks we're monsters," Daniel added, "and the other half wants to hire us as bodyguards." Commander Vale entered the deck. "You 3 caused quite a political storm," he said with a faint smile. "Sir," Daniel groaned, "we literally just sat in a Drex cell." Vale looked out at the stars. "That humans are kind until they are cornered, polite until they are threatened, calm until someone hurts our people. The Drex pushed, they learned the price." Just then, the console beeped. A message from the Galactic Council appeared. It read, "Request, human representative, purpose, discuss, peace, protocols, and mutual understanding." Ro blinked. "They want to talk to us." Vale turned to the 3 of them. "Whatever the reason, we have been called, and you're coming with me." For the first time in history, humans were invited to stand before the entire Galactic Council. Inside the great chamber of the Unity Cradle, light from 1,000 stars shone through crystal walls, illuminating delegates from every known species. Scaled warriors, feathered scholars, and even beings of pure energy filled the curved rows. Every eye was fixed on one thing: the humans entering the chamber. Commander Vale walked in first, calm and steady, his hands clasped behind his back. Following him were Mara, Ro, and Daniel, their uniforms clean, but their faces showing a deep, unshakable exhaustion. A low murmur rippled through the alien crowd. Some whispered in fear, others in awe. No one expected humans to look so ordinary. No claws, no armor, no glowing auras, just calm faces and steady steps. And that very calm was precisely what frightened the galaxy. The central podium lit up. Counselor Junrath, a long-bodied, silver-scaled being, addressed the hall. "Commander Vale of Earth, crew of the Horizon Spear, we welcome you." Vale simply inclined his head. "Thank you." The counselors exchanged glances, surprised by his relaxed tone. They had expected arrogance or even threats. Instead, the humans acted as if this was just another meeting. Junrath continued, "The Drex incident has shaken many worlds. They claim they were overpowered by a small number of your operatives." Ro whispered to Daniel, "Small. They didn't even see half the team. Daniel just smirked. A tall insectoid general clicked harshly. Is it true humans boarded a Drex warship without fear? Commander Vale answered plainly. No. Our people felt fear. We just did not let it control us. The general froze. The delegates were beginning to understand. Humans weren't fearless. They were brave despite the fear, and that made them far more dangerous. Then, a glowing speaker from the Loom Collective asked the real question. Commander Vale, are humans peaceful? The room went utterly silent. Vale looked around slowly, meeting the eyes of dozens of species. Humans prefer peace, he said, letting the words hang in the air. But peace is a choice. One we protect, one we defend. Always. Jonrith stepped forward. And if peace is threatened, Vale's voice remained gentle, but carried an undeniable weight. Then we hunt the threat, quickly, efficiently, politely. A ripple of shock moved through the chamber. Jonrith then turned to Mara. You were a captive. What did you feel? Mara took a slow breath. At first, fear. But then, our rescue team arrived. They didn't shout. They didn't rage. They moved with calm, purpose, and control. She looked directly at the council. And the Drex realized something. Humans don't break when pushed. We sharpen. Ro stepped forward next, shrugging. I'll be honest. I think the Drex expected us to scream, to beg. But humans aren't wild. We plan, we adapt, we protect each other. And when someone hurts us, we don't go crazy. We get focused. Finally, Daniel stepped up. We didn't ask for this fight. We just wanted to explore and learn. He gestured to the stars outside. But if someone targets us, if someone steals our people, if someone tries to break us, he pressed his palm on the podium. We do not stop halfway. After a long silence, Councillor Junrith spoke softly. Humans are peaceful, but not harmless. Commander Vale nodded once. Yes, that is correct. And your strength, Junrith said slowly, comes not from anger, but from discipline. Vale smiled gently. From discipline, and from the desire to protect. The council voted. The result was overwhelming. New galactic protocol. You do not provoke humans, ever. As they left, Junrith spoke the words that would become legendary. Today, the galaxy has understood a truth. Humans do not negotiate with threats. They simply remove them. Behind them, the entire galaxy watched, and finally understood. Thanks for watching.